Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, I've had enough of that. Welcome to Desperate House Witches. It is First Friday's Politics with Taliesin and RAINA. So you know this is going to be a good hour. I'm RAINA Star, so you don't have to be. Desperate House Witches is not a G, PG, or even an R-rated show. So if bad language, bodily function, dirty talk of any kind might offend you, the show is not for you. Although it is, which is why you're listening. Desperate House Witches is brought to you by the incredibly wicked one herself, the amazing Dorothy Morrison. Please check out www.dorothymorrison.net.com for all of your Dorothy Morrison needs, books, and other such things. And if you are looking for Wicked Witch Mojo products, find them at your local retailer and tell them what you want so they can get it for you. All right. It's too good to be true. So, of course, First Fridays, I have to have my good buddy, the one and only Pagan Pundit himself, the incredible Taliesin Govannon. Hello, my friend.
Hey, RAINA and everybody out there in the internet world. It is I, your Pagan Pundit, tireless author, all-around sarcastic dude.
So before we launch into the politics of the situation, which for a change is going to be fun, unlike my show yesterday where I just go off into gloom and doom. But let's talk a little bit about Paranormal Acres and what's happening with your writing, my friend.
Yes, well, I am releasing one book every month since March. And I have 4 books in the Paranormal Acres Chronicles out right now. That is The Raven at Midnight, Strange Magic, The Sentinel, and A Vision Through Time. Those are all out. And coming up on July 1st will be Harmony Lane. And on August 1st will be a book called Who Wants to Live Forever. Now, these are paranormal fantasy. There are vampire novels and Fey Witch novels and shapeshifter novels. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot like the paranormal superheroes. And so I'm doing these books in phases. And 6 books are in phase 1. People going. And I am currently, I actually have everything up and ready to go. I am so far ahead of schedule as far as formatting and doing all the not fun stuff that I can actually focus on and writing again. And coming up in September will be book 3 in the Sorceress Saga finally. So things are definitely moving.
You are quite a prolific writer, my friend. That is wonderful. Congratulations. Much success.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm enjoying getting out there. I'm enjoying getting out there. People start with book 1, and I just in case people don't know, when you read a book on Kindle Unlimited, the authors can see how many pages in each book are being read per day. I watch people start in book 1, and I just see them plow through all the books that are out. So that's very gratifying there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's been a labor of love for you, I know, and it's just so nice to see you finally doing the thing you love to do the most.
Exactly, and it's so much fun. I'm, having a blast. Of course, this is Pride Month, and so many of my books have queer characters. Book promotion is almost counting as side posts. This is also my first try, by the way, as somebody covered under the rainbow. I realized as sex, that's on the asexual spectrum. That's where you don't have sexual attraction to somebody unless you have some other type of emotional bond with them first. And so now in the LGBTQIA alphabet, A stands for asexual and demisexual is on the asexual spectrum. So I'm more than just a supporter issue. I'm a participant.
Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations again. Now let's get going to be a summer of back on roller coasters. What's your situation with that?
Oh, Lord, yes. Originally, we were thinking about going to. We were supposed to be doing a bunch of things today, and everything fell through. So that's why I contacted you this morning, going, "Oh shit, I remembered what Friday this is." Our Cedar Point cast, we were originally talking about getting Cedar Point for the last couple of hours. They were open today, but they're doing a big poster event that we're not doing, so it's going to be stupidly crowded. But we also have plans in the works to go to Virginia this year, go to Dominion and start in Williamsburg. We did kind of a spontaneous trip in February down to Florida. My wife and son wanted to take me to SeaWorld Orlando and Busch Gardens, and so we flew down there and did that. And of course, there are new coasters happening. Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. There's a new dive coaster at Dorney Park that we're going to be hitting later in the year. So maybe not as many new parks this year as we've done in past years, but definitely on the horizon. And front row ride on a dive coaster. For people who don't know, those are the ones that take you up. And you hang second before it drops you down 90-degree drop. That's what's great. I've actually been conquering my fear of heights to the point where I can do front row on things these days. So lots and lots of fun and lots of hand-sweating excitement for other folks.
Yeah, not my kind of deal, but glad you're out there making it happen because it seems like you're really enjoying it. I have a fear of heights, and my fear is enough to stop me, so I'm very happy.
I have a horrible fear of heights too. The weirdest thing is that when I went to Florida, one of my favorite coasters I rode, known as a flying coaster, you're kind of like the ground, like you're Superman flying, but that means you look down the entire time you're on the coaster unless you're going upside down. So, actually got on an airplane. Got on my first airplane ride I had ever done. And as I did the airplane ride, my fear of lift just kind of evaporated. It was kind of weird. I guess because I'm usually secured into the roller coaster train a lot better than you are on an airplane. I put the seatbelt on the airplane and I'm like, that's it? There's no lap bar or anything? Yeah, so it's a little bit of a different experience.
Definitely. It's definitely a different experience. Glad you made it through that okay. I mean, I don't know if it would help my fear of flying. I have a terrible fear of flying as much as I have a fear of heights. So I'm glad you're out there making it happen. If I can't do it, I can do it through you. So that's awesome, and I appreciate you sharing your adventures.
I always read one of my books because in Harmony Lane, riding roller coasters is actually an important part of the love story that happens between the two lead characters. That comes out July 1st. That's a very sweet, wistful, slow burn romance. Kind of like the stuff I used to write when I was doing screenplays all the time. So I'm particularly proud of that one. And it's going to be fun, too, because when I go to King's Dominion later in the year, there's a coaster there that used to be at Geauga Lake, which is the park that Paranormal Acres is based on. So I'm actually going to get to ride one of the coasters that I get to have in my fantasy world that's still in operation.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. That's great. All right, let's get on. Let's get on to the reason why we're all here.
Yes. Well, Donald Trump's got 34 problems with an equivalent one. I saw a great meme recently that was still from Clerks, and it's like 34 felonies in a row. Try not to commit any more felonies on your way to the felony line.
Right. Exactly.
Oh yeah, that was so much. The funny thing is that out of all the cases that Trump was indicted on, and I have to say so far, because state courts are getting much more into the act now. Well, with Wisconsin recently charging several people, including Bill Cheesebro, with fraud. With fraud for the fake elector scheme. There's definitely could be more charges for Trump coming down the pike. But the New York case was supposed to be the weakest one. It was supposed to be the biggest threat. It was supposed to be the one that nobody was really banking on. And yet, how the case put together consistent with New York law. The fact that Donald Trump was deep in his own defense did not help at all, because he had his lawyer do things like put on the worst possible witness that he possibly could have put on. Juror number 2 on the jury was somebody who said that they got all their news from Truth Social and Elon Musk X, which is pretty much like going from Nazi to Nazi. And yet they still don't convict on all 34 counts. So that's and so you're looking at out of the 93 I think felonies he's charged with right now, I think he'd be lucky to escape getting convicted on. I mean, he might escape 4 or 5 off technicalities, but this was supposed to be the case, and he got nailed, which is why he always tried to keep from going to trial.
Oh boy. So that's great news, but it doesn't seem to sway his supporters, and I do not understand why.
Well, there's a couple of things to look at here. Don't mistake the spin. One thing, the mainstream media, the traditional media is a fucking mess right now. Part of them wants to pretend that this is a normal election, and they're going to try to almost cosplay Trump as a traditional candidate. And there are other ones that just want the clicks and the ratings, and it's a mess. Don't mistake spin that Republicans have been putting out about this kind of thing helping Trump and not hurting Trump, because they're getting high on their supply and starting to believe it themselves now. And yet, when you take a look at these incredibly flawed polls, I've told you many times before, the polls done before Labor Day are usually worthless in a presidential election. But these polls are even more so, as I've gone over in the past. Polling has not kept pace with society. And so right now you have all these polls that are only polling people who either A, have a landline, or B, are willing to answer an unknown caller on their cell phone, which means that pretty much none of these polls are catching anybody under the age of 40. And even someone like me, I have no landline, and I will not answer an unknown call on my cell phone.
Me too.
So there's a lot of being missed. There's a lot of younger voters that are feeling things like reproductive freedom, and gun violence, the biggest. And so when you hear that the polls that the news is going with are basically polls of mostly white voters over 40, and even with these polls of mostly white voters over 40. What we're seeing here is that it's not a huge one. It's not a huge should drop 20, 30 points worth of support. But even in these polls that are polling people totally in Trump's demographic, old angry white dudes, he's got about 6-7 points from where he was pre-vote. And that's not even talking about the people who have lost confidence in him. One of his big images has always been being a winner, winning against all odds. Nobody thought he could win against Hillary, and he somehow took advantage of a racist electoral college system to be able to get in there and that sort of thing. But he wasn't a winner. He lost on every count. And that right there is going to drive down turnout amongst his core behind Trump, actual voters. And these are people who are looking for reasons not to vote. And it's something. Even when you take a look at these first race polls that white people over 40, he's running behind Biden. And this early out, that's not good for him. And one of the biggest things to remember, that the poll differential are getting way more vicious for the entire Republican Party. Now, as a quick refresher, what's the poll differential? The poll differential is the difference between the actual vote results and what the poll predicted it would be. So they were predicting that instead you win by 2 points. That's a 5-point poll difference. That there was 5 points worth of voters that the poll was missing. If you take a look at just the last 12 months, you average it out to Democrats have an 11-point poll differential in every single race. Some of them are 5 points. Some of them are 30 points. Some of them but they're averaging out to 11 points. So you take a poll that is 49 Biden, 47 Trump, and you put just the smallest poll differential, 5 points. That's over 50% right there, and that's really difficult to come back with, even in an electoral college funky math situation. So there's a lot of things that Republicans are shouldn't turn up about. I would not want to be a Republican campaign worker right now. Talk about the most thankless job in the world, because all of your people who are paying your money are all in fantasy land, somehow thinking that if they back Squatler, that he can weigh in there and he's going to reverse them. But they're just really nuking themselves to a degree. I mean, back when the Republican Party went all in for Trump, even after Access Hollywood, I think it was Lawrence O'Donnell talking about the suicide pact that Donald Trump had talked to the Republican Party into. And they're all in. I mean, they're stirring up the flavor rate, they're adding the funky chemicals, and they're getting ready to take the whole party down, because they keep going MAGA, and MAGA has lost. And MAGA hasn't won an election. They haven't won an election yet. Even Trump getting in 2016 was with him losing the popular vote. He just lost it in the one way he could have to allow a racist electoral college version to install him in the White House. It's not winning elections, it's losing them more and more. And don't also believe the poll saying that Gaza policy is going to nuke Joe Biden with younger voters, because an actual polling outfit did an actual poll of 18 to 29-year-olds by going out into the field and talking to people, and found that the top 3 issues are body autonomy, climate change, and gun violence, with economic health and health care following up behind. Gaza ranks number 7 with 18 to 29-year-olds. And now that the Republicans just went and blocked a bill to protect contraception, they're just literally going whole hog. This is like somebody deciding that they're going to get married in the Titanic. And it's just really kind of fascinating to watch a party just self-immolate like this.
Is this like, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to see a normal Republican Party again. I have lost hope that because they're all fleeing the ship. Any normal Republicans, quote unquote, folks that are not so radical, they seem to have fled in droves. And unfortunately, when you do that, you leave the asylum to, the actual people in it. I'm kind of scared for that, because it's hard to take, we're built on a system of laws, and Trump wants to eliminate anything that questions his power. He wants to eradicate the judicial system. He wants to eradicate, any kind of regulation for schools. I mean, it's just the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life. And people are saying, yeah, we want that. And I mean, My fellow Americans frighten me. I am terrified. But when the rule of law goes out the window and you can't trust the Supreme Court, and they've changed so many things into Trump's favor, how can we trust that any law that exists is going to stop him?
Well, because you're taking a look and see. When you take a look at Steve Bannon is put in jail on July 1st. He can't get away from it anymore. You're people getting indicted up the country. The Supreme Court. And I think it's going to take a Democratic majority of Congress to go ahead and expand it back to court because here's a little tip, folks. When the Supreme Court was set 9 justices, that's when there were 9 federal circuits for federal courts in this country. Really make it keep pace with history. They could add 4 justices to the court and the conservative majority. If that happened, you also see Thomas probably head to Argentina just because of all of the hinky shit he's been doing, thinking he's never been caught. So that would be 5 people that a second term Joe Biden would be able to appoint. And you know that the people that he's going to appoint are going to be people like black women and Latinx women and possibly even a gay man or something like that. He's really into the idea of having government look like America. And America is multicultural. I mean, what we're seeing here is this is like this is the death throes of an establishment with the Republican Party that's been around for over 160 years when you think about it here. But we're not going to see a regular Republican Party again. What's going to happen is once they flame out in November, and the bigger the death blow is to their governing abilities, the better. Then they're going to descend into full-on. If you think the squabbling thus far has been bad, it ain't nothing bad. And to show you how bad it is, after Trump's conviction was announced, a Republican running for Senate in Maryland said, "I made the decision, but we have to respect the jury's verdict." And Trump's people came in and said, "Well, you just ended your Senate campaign." And this dude is conservative. Trump, like, in his last, he voted like 80-90% of the time. But it's not good enough. It's a cult of personality now. And any deviation is going to be punished. So once they flame out, and Trump lines up, some kind of Russia to avoid jail or something like that, you're going to see just all-out savagery. The maggots are going to wind up probably being in control of the mechanism of the Republican Party system. And they're just going to take revenge on everybody who they deem as insufficiently loyal to their deal. They won't leave anything standing because that's the rule of Trumpland. If you're not in the camp of Trump, they want to destroy you. And they include their own party. Hell, Marjorie Taylor Greene said as many bad things about the Republican Party establishment as she does about even though everything sounds like feedback, but Swahili version of Justin Bieber remix. Still, the fact that the most extreme people in the Republican didn't get as much crap bashing their own people as they do bashing the other side shows you that they're all printers. Once the entire thing blows up, they're going to see how much money they can raise before the entire thing just falls apart. Now, here's what I've been telling people, especially younger people, over the past few months. Once the Republican Party dissolves, we're going to have about 2 to 4 years, a couple of House election cycles where it's pretty much just going to be Democrats. There'll be Republicans running as tokens, but they're not going to have any sort of party to back them up. They're not going to have fundraising abilities to back them up. All of the things that a party does to try to get people elected on the state and local level, it's just not going to exist anymore. It's already disappeared. And so we're going to have about 2 to 4, maybe 6 years of single-party rule. And if people want to get a progressive agenda enacted, if people really want to go for the things to really help people the most they can, protect consumers, protect people's civil rights, expand these questions can be matters of settled law and that kind of thing. We're going to have 2 to 6 years to get that done before the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party is not a monolith. It's a coalition of people who are all center to center left, and yet they just know that the Republicans are back. Once the backshit insane party isn't there to act as a source to make the work for people that they otherwise disagree with, you're going to see the Democratic Party take two. We're going to have the centrists and the progressives probably split first. The old Republicans, the ones that abandoned Trump as early as 2020, they'll probably wind up taking up with the centrists. The progressives will wind up soaking up people who are saying that they're independent right now, who don't like any party, and that's probably going to be the new two-party dichotomy. So if anybody's thinking that they want to get things going and really happening for real, the time to get involved is right now. Get involved with activist groups, get involved with local government groups, get involved with your local Democratic Party right now, because then when things start to change and we can remove the specter of fascism from being on the table at every election, those who are positioned to be able to operate things from the inside are going to be able to do the maximum good. So there's a lot of things that we've got to keep our eyes focused. We've got to beat the modern day Nazis like the proverbial ginger-headed child from another partner. And it's just, but we also have to prepare for the future. And that's one thing that the Republican Party hasn't done since they turned to hardcore conservatism in the 60s. They've never really planned for the future, and it's all coming back to bite them.
Well, I mean, that gives me a lot of hope, but I'm glad you said what you said about people getting involved now, because one of the things that makes me so fucking crazy is when there's an election and a result that nobody likes, everybody whines and moans, but no one did anything to get in there and change it. So I'm glad you brought up that people should get involved now, because it is going to be important. Because I mean, I don't know if the Republicans are really going to fall apart that fast, because to me, even 5 or 6 years doesn't sound like very much time. I mean, I'm hopeful you're right, because who wants to be ruled by fascists? I don't think people understand what fascism is. I think they would be a lot more frightened of it if they understood it. But, Trump's word salad just leads people. I think it's back to that George W. Bush. I could have a beer with him. He wouldn't have a beer with you if you were on fire and you wanted him to pour it on you to put the fire out. So, I mean,
right.
The whole thing about Trump is he feeds into every horrible instinct that cavemen had. If you can't eat it or fuck it, kill it. I don't know.
Right.
It's just a weird mentality to me that there are still people like. I mean, you're always going to have a faction of people that are, we ought to go back to the good old days when women were barefoot and pregnant. I mean, there's always going to be that kind of male. And the rise of the incel certainly made that definitely somewhat more popular than it ever had been. But it can't be that we're going to let this shit happen. It just can't. I mean, Trump's already saying he's going to punish people who are against him. And as I said on my broadcast yesterday, if you think he's reserving that only for other politicians, you would be sadly mistaken. He would be more than happy to wipe out large sections of the population, and he will find a way to do it if he is given the power, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing about him. He's a narcissist, and I'm not using that as a loose insult. It's like clinical. The guy is a malignant narcissist. He has no idea that anybody outside of himself has any value. And you saw that during the trial. The only person who showed up, the only person who trial out of his family was Eric, which everybody agrees was probably the most pathetic attention-seeking out of all of his kids. I mean, Don Jr. showed up a couple of times, but that's just because I think his co-dealer was located around the corner from the court building, so that's probably why that happened. But you never saw Melania there. You never saw Ivanka there. Because they know that they're only as useful to him as much as he can use them. And they're not, they don't want to be useful to him during these times. I thought it was hilarious. I saw a Stephen Colbert routine where he was theorizing that Melania Trump was one of the jurors that convicted Trump, and when he said that he could be the house arrest, all the time she freaked out and thought it would be a tragedy. That'd be the worst. If Trump gets house arrest, you're going to see Melania flying back to Eastern Europe. That's right. But yeah, the guy is every single bad thing about any male person that you can think of, all wrapped up into one malignant, narcissistic package. And the fact that the guy is obviously in severe mental decline, he can't string a sentence together anymore to make it sound coherent. He did an interview with Dr. Phil that was so heavily edited, it looked like an old Max Headley sketch from MTV, just trying to hide his cognitive dissonance going on there. I'm going to make it right, but so I'm predicting that Donald Trump is not going to show up for any debate with Joe Biden because the guy cannot. This is without a teleprompter. In fact, his teleprompter died. Mitch McConnell just stood there silent 5 minutes because the words weren't telling him what to say. Improv long enough to fix the technical malfunction anymore. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's going around and fielding stupid questions with snarky answers and just absolutely having an almost Obama level of comic timing. Literally, one of the right-wing conspiracies going around about Joe Biden is that after he's inaugurated, he's going to retire and hand everything over to Kamala Harris. Now, of course, for a lot of us, we'd be like, okay, Kamala, great, good person. But of course, that's where the phrase. You know what the real problem with Joe Biden is? He's black. That's the problem with Joe Biden's face. But a reporter asked him about that, and he said, "Have you fallen on your head recently, son? You're not talking any sense." And he just walked off. So I could see why Trump wouldn't want to go up against that on a debate stage, especially since it's not going to be done by the League of Women Voters anymore. It's not going to be done by the Presidential Debate Commission because they don't insist on things like live audiences and not cutting mics during other people's answers. So now it's going to be in a studio with no audience, with nobody to play to for applause line, and when somebody asks Joe Biden a question, they're going to cut Trump's mic so he can't interrupt. He's not even going to want to show up to that. He's going to come up with a reason. He's going to say that Joe Biden has given the questions ahead of time, and it's a rigged debate. But he is not going to face Joe Biden because once that happens, everyone's going to see who's the real person with the declining mental facilities in this race.
And it's not Joe Biden.
Not Joe Biden. No, it is Johnny Boy Trump himself. And like I said, he is going to find some reason to not do the debate. And I'm starting my clock now. I'm waiting to see how long it's going to take.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there's not a lot of time on that clock because that debate is supposed to be happening fairly soon, right?
Yes, it is happening fairly soon.
It is happening
but again, Trump did this to the Republicans back in 2016 when he actually took part in Republican debate. He would say, maybe I'll be there, maybe I won't. Trying to milk the publicity machine, get all the stories to be about will he or won't he, totally ignore all the other people involved, and then he would decide, nah, I'm not going to do it, and go and do something else, like the time he went to do a veterans fundraiser and then embezzle all the money. That happened in 2016. And so I think he's going to do the same thing here. He's going to start probably about 4 or 5 days beforehand, saying things like, I'm going to do it. It's going to be a very good situation. I have reliable information that they're going to rig it for Joe Biden. They're going to cut off my free seats. They're going to favor him. He's going to start building that up. About 4, 5, 6 days before the debate is actually set. And he's just going to ramp it up until the day of. He's going to announce, I'm not doing this. This is a scam. This is another rig thing. And he's going to do the accordion thing with his hand that he always does. And that's going to be it. If we're very unlucky, he might do a dance move, which I call the jerking 2 guys off at the gay bar once. But he's gonna set it up. He's gonna fucking wimp out.
And it fascinates me how all he has to do is say something is rigged, and his supporters go, yeah, it was rigged. It wasn't fair.
That's one of the signs of an anything that they say, everyone's against them. Everyone's working against them. It's just so. I mean, I see psychiatrists on YouTube. You go back on their channel, and they'll always say, you can't diagnose somebody by watching them on the media. You can't diagnose someone without actually doing a real examination. Even these guys are saying, it's pretty fucking obvious. I mean, the guy gets his wife's name wrong. Now, granted, he's wife number 3, and Paramore number 5,232. And out of those 5,232 sexual experiences, that was all probably a total few minutes of thrusting on his part, but that's another matter altogether. It's always funny, too, when Lawrence O'Donnell describes Trump's liaison with Stormy Daniels, and always calls it a very brief sexual encounter, because he knows Trump watches his show and always gets pissed when Lawrence says something like that. But the guy, he gets his wife's name wrong. He has less children when he's mentioning his children. He has tried to say the same word. It's an easy word, something like ballet or supper club or something like that. It just won't come out. And I mean, we can joke about the dude forgetting the name Crooked Hillary and saying Crooked Trillery or something like that. But when you've seen people deal with memory issues, there are just things that you know. And my dad had memory issues towards the end of his life. My mom is dealing with dementia, who lives with us. You just the look when somebody knows what they want to say, and the word just won't fucking come. And you see that written, and you see that over his face. It's just really, really, really fucking clear and obvious. And it's so funny too, because there's people who are trying to out stupid him, and it's really kind of humorous to watch themselves debate themselves in such a ridiculous way. The latest one was Byron saying that a black man saying that black people in America had it better under Jim Trump. So when you're trying to out stupid Trump, it's not easy.
Yeah, I can't believe some of the things they actually come out with in public and say. They're things that just boggle my mind, because just in a polite society, you wouldn't say things like that, even if you actually did think them. And it frightens me how much the country has been allowed to change, been encouraged by this kind of behavior, this bad behavior. But, okay, aside from that, what are the potentials of him having house arrest really, in a real sense, or actually going to jail? Not very good, right?
Well, see, I don't think that. If it's just incarceration, I don't think it's going to be house arrest. It's going to be house arrest. Judge Merchan knows the way Trump abuses and flouts everything he does. And it's kind of funny too. I was watching Glenn Kirshner on Brian Taylor Cohen's YouTube show a couple of days ago. He brought up something. He brought up the idea that he could easily, since Donald Trump easily violated the gag order, which until it says it's not in place anymore, it's still in place. He could literally say, okay, I'm going to sentence you to 2 years for the conviction, and of course, a lot of times you can be free pending appeal, especially for white-collar cases like that. But then he could also say, in addition to the 2 years, I'm going to sentence you on 3 counts of contempt of court, criminal contempt, for violating the gag order again, and that'll be 30 days for each infraction, 90 days, starting right now, bailiffs take them away. The judge refuses. And as a matter of fact, the Republican Party is making plans in case they have to, so that Trump can accept the nomination from a fucking jail cell, believe it or not. This is a very real thing that they are getting ready for.
That, you see, and this astounds me. And I said yesterday, again, this country is held together on a handshake and popsicle sticks. I didn't realize that so many things were not in place, that it was all a gentleman's agreement until we didn't have a gentleman anymore. And now everything is up in the air, and I have very little faith about, well, I shouldn't have very little faith because, I'm pagan and I believe that the gods have their hands in stuff. But I don't trust people. People frighten me.
Well, another thing to remember, though, about the current political landscape, to give a little bit of perspective a lot of Trump are not.
Oh, I think I've lost him. Yes, I did lose him. All right. Hopefully he will call back in momentarily. But, yeah, but like Taliesin was saying, we do have to stay vigilant. We still have to keep, even if things are a disaster for the Republican Party, we still have to stay vigilant. We still have to make sure that we're voting in every election. We have to make sure we're encouraging others to vote in every election as well. It looks like Taliesin is having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will see you next week. I hope you all have a great weekend. Please vote. Please remember to encourage people to vote. Oh, we're going to try it one more time. Here he is. Hang on. Are you there?
I am.
You are not there. Ooh. Tal, I think we're having technical difficulties, my friend. I know.
Told me I was gone.
I am.
Just real quick here. What I was saying. Piece of perspective. A lot of MAGA voters are not people who were necessarily like hardcore.
We have lost him again
because nobody was crazy enough for them, and so they just kind of sat elections out. and Donald Trump brought them in. All of the nasty ass racist shit that they always wanted. If Donald Trump were to disappear from the political landscape, a lot of these people are going to crawl back under a rock because they're going. There's no point in it. Just, election and wait for the hordes of Antifa woke people to come up my driveway or something like that, which of course will never come. And also, the fact that you have so many Republicans willing to sell out everything for this guy, it's just the right people weren't stopping for them yet. They weren't buying yet. So really, the players in the hat in aren't really new. It's just they're finding new voice and new license. But the lifeblood of a political movement or a political party is political power. Either you have it, or you could get it. Which is why third parties tend to have a hard time gaining traction because they don't have power, but they're probably not going to get it. And so it's really hard to get anybody involved who's not wanting to be, a whiny protest voter or something like that. And so we get Donald Trump behind bars, especially after the election's done and all of the delays that have been going on for his trials become moot because there's no way you can delay everything for 4 more fucking years, even if he lived that long, which I don't think he would. It's like once that whole thing collapses, a lot of people are going to, they're just, it's going to seem like where they go. They're going back to where they always were. But it's like, we've got to, once we get past with Joe Biden winning, I am predicting big wins in the House and the Senate. The whole differential for Democrats is even better on the local level. I mean, we're already Republicans only lose 1 vote in the House.
Right.
Fucking screwed. Be, at a standstill, and there is no way they're keeping the seats they have after the last 2 years. Just the fact that they haven't done jack shit is going to bounce back badly on them. The fact is, Trump's going to be a drag on the ticket. Trump's going to drag on every ticket he's been on, and especially when he's actually on the ticket he's even bigger. So. Because there's still plenty of people who will vote for Donald Trump who won't vote for anybody because they're not considered loyal enough. And a lot of Trump's handpicked people in primaries, by the way, are going down to defeat. So that's another reason for his hard force to not support people down the Republican ticket. Once we can get past this, I think we're going to see a lot of shall we say realigning, where people who weren't involved before are going to go back to not being involved. There's going to be a new raft of people who are going to try to rebuild the Republican Party, but they're not going to have anything left to work with. Trump's people are going to steal everything on their way out the door. In fact, Laura Trump has already made it so that basically, if somebody wants to run using Trump's name or picture, he's sending bills to these Republican candidates wanting money for using Donald Trump's name and picture to run to Republicans. So literally, they are going to steal everything on the way out the door. So we're in a period of realignment. Things are never going to be the way they were before. But that's not necessarily a terrible thing. Because I think the parties were a little too cozy in the 70s and 80s. There really wasn't enough of a difference for people to vote for. And now that things have gone to this point, it's going to be a new normal. And I don't know what that new normal is going to be. But I mean, hell, you never know. When the realignment happens, if no party it winds up being a dominant opposition party, we could wind up seeing the Arab coalition building happening, like in parliamentary systems. If no party has enough votes to secure Speaker of the House, they're going to have to make deals. They're going to have to make completely uncharted waters here. But the thing to remember is that we've got a huge amount of the American establishment, especially the media, who are trying to pretend like it's the old normal. And that's where most of their brain dead shit is coming from. But again, don't look at how stupid they're being and thinking that this is that this is going to be the new normal. This is just another weirdness on top of the weirdness that started when Donald Trump came down that escalator in 2015. And by the time that anniversary date hits next year, I think we're going to see a political landscape nobody can predict, but hopefully we'll be able to get enough of the bad actors out to make it less dangerous for people to try to bug the good guys, do more good. That kind of thing.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, Taliesin. We live in interesting times. We certainly do, don't we?
Chinese curse interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But since we still seem to be having some kind of technical difficulty, so I'm going to thank you for coming on, like you always do. I can't wait until next month when we can review.
Always make sure you can go and check out the Paranormal Acres.
Yes. Absolutely. Check out Paranormal Acres, everybody. The link will be on the show page. And you can find Taliesin Govannon on all of his media.
Yep, and the next Sorceress Saga book is coming out this fall. I've got September, October coming up here. And all kinds of things that are going to be. That's the meta. I've got over 10,000 followers on that right now. I take part in it hit 10K. I'm at 10K 300 and some right now. And as a matter of fact, the lead singer of the Spin Doctors followed me. I had my fans for a moment over that. As well as Dan Rice's son Christopher followed me on Threads. That was really cool. I'm also doing a writing prompt series every Sunday that a bunch of other writers do. And I am doing stories broken up. I'm doing one story right now that's in its 18th day of writing. Little bit on out by the people running the writing prompt. So come and check me out on Threads. On Threads as well.
Right. We'll do it. All right, my friends. Thank you again for always being there to talk me down off the ledge. I sure love you.
I am always happy to do that. And I always get on here and talk with folks. So folks, go out there. Remember to take some time for yourself. Yeah, we got to fight. Yeah, we got to keep our country. But never forget that we need you whole. We need you sane. So if you need to unplug for a day or two, turn off the news, get off social media, go read a book. I put out 4. There's lots of sexy fun and violence and sarcastic humor in there, or go for a walk, do something, but take care of yourselves, drink lots of water, and let's try to have as much fun as we can while we keep everything from burning now. I will see everybody next month, first Friday in July, same bad time, same bad station. Taliesin out.
All right. Taliesin, thanks again. All right, everybody. I hope you have the most wonderful weekend. Thanks for bearing with us during all the technical difficulties. Hopefully things will improve on that side as well. And I will talk to y'all later next week. A great one.